The Marquis de Lestrade comes across a lone woman in the woods on the way to the masquerade. The movement away to my left catches my eye, but I ignore it. My gaze is directed towards the young woman. Her eyes sparkle in the moonlight, its lustre reflecting off the white powder adorning her neck. Without another word, she moves forward a pace or two. With both hands she inches up the bottom of the ball gown. It's as if she's teasing me as she provocatively reveals a pair of silken undergarments. I am totally focused on her derriere as she pulls down the garment with both hands, presenting a perfectly formed pair of cheeks, rounded and ripe for the picking. That, mademoiselle, is magnifique. However, I warrant it would love to be warmed on this summer evening. I reach out and run my hand over both of her globes, a tingle running through my whole body. Yes, sir, you are most astute. Her voice is now playful, her own desires matching my own. I remove my hand from her posterior and move around so that I am in front of her. Taking her by the hand, I lead her to the centre of the clearing, where a lone tree stands, reaching up to the heavens. She does not struggle, but is ungainly on her feet due to the bloomers she is wearing, preventing her from walking as normal. Her hands still hold up the gown as if she knows what is about to happen. On reaching the tree, I let go of her hand and begin to unfasten the chain that holds my cloak in place. I reverently place the cloak on the ground, not before removing the double-linking golden chain. I slide my walking cane into the top of my boot so that both of my hands are free. Then with excited fingers, take her hands and position them so that they meet on both sides of the tree's trunk. I used a makeshift crude fastening with a chain securing her hands so that she cannot pull away from the stout post. I glance behind her and from my vantage point see a figure in the shadows. It is about 20 feet from us now, and I can see from the height and build it is a man. He does not intervene on the scene, but he stands there silently. Then I realise the young woman had planned on meeting someone as an appetizer before the main event of the ball. Well, he will have to wait until I've had my fun. Once I am happy that she's in the optimum position, I circle around and stand on her left side. It is the perfect place for me to administer what I have in mind, and also does not block the view of the unsuspected voyeur who has joined us. I unceremoniously tear the garment from my willing victim, throwing them to the woodland ground. The cane is the sine qua of punishment. A bottom may be gently smacked, not so with a caning. That always bloody hurts. That must wait. I need to feel the flesh under my hands first. I rub the whole area of skin, its surface pimples, either with excitement or the breeze drifting through the clearing. I raise my hand and strike each buttock. Once, twice, 3 times, and I grin as the flesh jingles under my touch. Yes, Marquis, I have been naughty. Do with me as you will. Her cries are not of pain, but we are just warming up. Yes, you have, my little harpy. I see you couldn't wait for the masquerade, and had planned on a private liaison with someone. She turns her head to face me, but again I cannot see the expression. Her eyes are wide, darting this way and that, until she sets them on the lone figure, watching, just in the shadows. I can tell from her body language that she has become even more aroused by the fact that her secret lover will be watching everything as it unfolds. She inches her feet further apart and bends more at the waist, thrusting out that sweet derriere. Perhaps that is both for our titillation, and I apply another 3 slaps of my hand with greater force to her ripe rump. Her head drops as she rides the stinging pain. My palm and fingers feel the force of the blows, and an ache fills my body. An ache that will be quickly replaced by so much pleasure. I retract the cane from my boot and measure the distance by placing the wooden stock against her flesh. Once more she turns her head to see what alien object is pressing into her skin. "How many am I to receive, sir?" Her voice now has become agitated, even frightened. That only fuels my passion. It is what arouses me more than anything else. "You will receive the amount I deem necessary to cast out your wicked thoughts and ways. Time enough for our guest to cast his silver juice on the woodland floor." I say no more, and she prepares for the first strike. The first delivery contacts her on the crease where the top of the legs join the buttocks. It is not where she expects, and she lurches forward. The stinging sensation more intense than my palm. The wood is not pliable, and she moans out loud, "Ooh la la, monsieur." Yet she does not cry out for me to halt. I reach down between her legs and feel the wetness that is oozing from her. The increase in my heart rate makes the throb in my temples increase, but I will not capitulate to it. I cup her chin in my hand and pull her head around to face me. "Count them out loud, mademoiselle." I hiss the words, but loud enough for our onlooker to hear in the stillness of the night. "Yes, sir." She whispers her reply. I return my attention to that lust posterior and begin to paint my magnificent masterpiece on that virginal flesh. I stop only for a brief pause to look over my shoulder. The man has now pulled his shaft free of his breeches, and his hand is viciously satisfying himself. I do not blame the man, for such a sight must be a wonder to behold, to the most enlightened of creatures. With each strike of the cane my breathing becomes exerted, the strength in my arms slowly waning. 7, 8. She continues to count, her buttocks now a glowing crisscross of red welts. The seepage in my breeches is turning from a stream to a river, staining the light material. I place my hand on the centre of her back to steady myself, for which I know will be the final 2 strikes. I deliver them with panache, and hear her moans accompanied by that of a masculine one, as the voyeur empties himself on the ground. The Marquis de